Hello out there, internet.
Hey, people, everybody, everything, aliens alike.
Hello out there, internet. Are we on the internet? Can we be heard? I think we can be heard.
I think we are heard. Are we heard? Can you hear me? It's kind of scary if you do. You know, cover your ears. The guy that is the Rye is speaking.
Yes. The Rye is speaking. Nope, we don't hear you. Well, in that case, may as well just,
I guess just read lips and read faces.
Oh, quick, somebody
His
cast a
face.
spell of comprehend languages. Come on. Oh, man. I'm tired, Rye. I am really tired.
I can always tell.
Well, some bloody reason I was up till 3 in the morning on chatting. And before that, it was play a D&D game in the community. So, yeah. Just a tad tired on this Tuesday morning.
It's all good. I live that word every day for other reasons, but yeah.
So we shall see how it goes. But in the meantime, for all you wonderful people out there in the internet, it's Tuesday night. It's Scuba and the Rye. And of course, this is a show where we talk about games and movies and whatever else pops into our mind, and on the occasion, some random internet story.
Yes, I am full of randomness all the time.
Just a little bit, but 10 years knowing each other, I would expect nothing less from you.
Yeah, if I actually went straight, then, the world's turned upside down.
Right. Wow. Yes, sir.
Scuba.
You are definitely tired, but that's okay. We got you. We're gonna be chill like we always are. But of course, first thing first, got to pay the bills. Got to give. Well, I don't know if it really pays the bills, but definitely give credit where credit is due. And that is to give credit and thanks to Syrinscape for the background musics and soundboards that we use.
Thank you.
Just had to mix it up a little bit. It's still the Scuba and the Rye sound set I made for the podcast, but instead of constantly being in the city, we're kind of chilling in a little farmstead. Got a blacksmith in the background, a minstrel, playing his lute. And thank you, Chili, for the 4-month sub.
Thank you.
You're awesome and appreciated, good sir. We're just kind of hanging out and chilling. It's been a busy few days, and it's nice to finally get some break. Oh, there's Rye going with the hydrates.
Yes.
You gotta get that hydrate. Gotta go and make sure I get that. Got lots of channel reward thingies going on. Oh, but yeah. So leading right into that, a thank you to all of you out in the community who watch us either on our VODs, watch us live, watch us on YouTube, check us out via our social medias and follow us on all our social medias. All that stuff is great and we appreciate that. All that support helps us keep us doing what we're doing, and it does take resources, so every ounce of support that you feel is worth it for what we do is muchly appreciated, and thank you.
Thank you out there.
So continue to spread the good word and tell people to come check us out. We do a couple of different shows during the week. Obviously, this is our first one or last one, depending on how you call it. Scuba and the Rye. We also do a show Saturdays. I got 2 D&D streams we do on Saturdays. Challenge accepted at 8 p.m. Eastern, and before that, 10 a.m. Eastern is Twilight's Gleaming. And then Sunday morning is Sunday with Scoob. It's a newer show, I think we're going to go into our 3rd week with that one. And that's going to be kind of a coffee and chill. We started playing Baldur's Gate 3, which we'll talk a little bit about here in soon. As for the D&D games, they are a riot and a half, and gonna see how we go with those. There's a whole bunch of channel point option, viewer interaction bits, options, stuff to interact and change the course of the stream as far as for the players. There's a list of that stuff here on the Twitch channel in the panels. There's also, if you click on the channel points or the bubbles, you'll have a whole list of things you can pick from that only affect the D&D streams. And then there's a few other things smattered for the other shows, but we'll see how it goes. Well, you know, I've got to. You know what, Chili? Here's the thing. If I can get more subscribers and get more subscriber points, then I can add more emojis. And we will definitely get some Rye emojis.
You sure you want that? It might break your screen.
It's okay. It's okay. We can either do the animated Rye, we could do, you know, take your photo and make it emoji, or make some animated ones. I mean, their options are there.
I can slip into any character you need me to be.
Of course. But, of course, we need to, you know, get the word out. Share us, like us, share us, you know. Put it out there so we can get some more word of mouth for people to check us out. Reverb, no, I don't believe I do, but let me do that and see if that takes a little bit out. Might be because of I was doing some tweaks with my microphone settings because I have the new Wave 1 and it has a built-in mixer that I can use. If there are plugins, I probably need to download those. But I may have to look into that pre-effects, or I may have to switch the mic feeds around for the podcast as opposed to my regular shows. So let's just see what I can do there for that. Alrighty, well, let me check the other thing. Ah. Yeah, there are definitely things with that. Let's see if we can't work that reverb down a little bit. Oh, I see what's. See if that helps bring that down just a hair. Cool.
Self-sorcerer, right?
He was a sorcerer on a couple weeks ago.
But yeah, I was casting things and just kind of making my way through the cold water, chilling in the ice, chilling in the ice, people. So how are y'all out there tonight, chat? Anything new in the world of the chat world?
Well, there's always something new going on. But yeah, we'll see how we go around with this.
Speaking of pretzel buns, I have been seeing that new commercial for that pretzel burger at Wendy's. I'm not one that eats fast food, barely any, but it's tempting when I see it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I don't even know what it is, but I saw that pretzel bun and I already was sold. Because burgers on the pretzel bun are pretty good.
That's always a good thing, right?
Oh yeah. Now I am on a mission this week. Go to a place that has a burger and a pretzel bun. And I know a few places.
Uh-oh. That's scary. Alright, I'm gonna stand by for just a moment. Let me flip something around.
Wait, Little Caesars had a pretzel pizza? Or maybe I'm just not in the cool kids crowd to know this. Where was I when this existed? This doesn't sound like a good memory coming up for me. How did I miss out on this?
I'm not 100% sure. How's that sounding?
Okay, I'm gonna have to do some research later. Find me a pretzel pizza.
So you still getting a little bit of a feedback thing, or is the audio sounding a little bit better now? Sweet. Okay. So yeah, learn point, new software, things got to tweak.
Little garbled. Hang.
So I can monitor it still. Alright.
It sounds like you're in a tunnel.
I'm in the tunnel?
That's what the shad says.
hope not.
Speaking into a metal can.
Hello, hello. Is that sounding a little bit better now? Ooh. Gotta keep my mic. Gotta keep my volume a little lower, a little directly at your microphone, because otherwise the other one's gonna pick it up. Ever so slightly.
It sounds like you're on a Scuba.
Wonderful.
Just wonderful. Well, there's a new noise suppression because the new OBS 26 dropped.
Mr. Chelly says it's the reverse.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Monkeys galore. Hey there. Oh, we got another subscriber for 3 months in a row. Awesome.
All right. Giggity giggity. Hey, I'm just kidding. Thank you very much. Alright. So. That's fun. Let's carry on, shall we?
Carry on, my wayward son.
Can't hear the echo for Scoobs. Ryan might be a little loud. Okay. Interesting to sound tweak and check and gain all those wonderful things.
Checking, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on the TV.
Alright, we'll see how that goes. Because we could spend a lot of time tweaking this.
Tweak. We'll be scientists in the lab, and then 3 days later, still haven't found the formula. It says rye sounds perfect.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yep, says it sounds better. So, hey!
Alright, I'll take what I can get.
It's all good. It happens. It happens sometimes.
It does. So, Ryan, what have you been up to the last week?
What I've been up to, it's just an amalgamation of busyness. One hand, I am learning new things at work because, like I said, I moved to a new team. So this week is another week of training. School's ramping up, so we're starting to deep dive into some literary criticisms, understanding the craft of research, and I'm going to be doing literary research on Robert Frost. So, looking forward to deep diving into that paper. Over the weekend, it was pretty chill. Not really much going on. Didn't feel like leaving the house, so caught up on some animes, caught up on some gaming. Actually started reading the Robin Williams biography book, so it's gonna be a while. That book is a little bit thicker than the Elton John book, so it's gonna take me a minute to get through that book. Other than that, nothing else new in the pond. Just kind of chill. Just kind of chill. That's about it. Just looking forward to some of the things that came in the mail. Some movies dropping this week, and because of my faux pas, remember how I went to the Oktoberfest a few weekends back and thought it was the 2nd anniversary for the farmhouse? Well, that's coming up this weekend, so I might go to farmhouse this weekend. 2nd anniversary. If it don't rain, because lately it's just been rain, soak rain, cloudy rain, left side rain, oh my god, rain. So
Yeah, quite a bit of that lately.
but that's all I got on my deck. Oh yeah, I am doing one final 20 for 20 list on my Book of Face. Put a vote out there, and the voices were heard. Can you guess what my next 20 for 20 is going to be? People, put it out there. The last two 20 for 20 lists I did, they were for music, one for albums, one for song. But now I'm doing another. I'm changing it up. Anybody in the chat can guess what my next 20 for 20 list is going to be? Do 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 do. Don't go too far 'cause of copyright.
Let's see. We have a vote for books. Here we go.
Books. Okay. Okay. That's a good guess.
A very good guess.
Yep.
I got a great one. Play with all these new.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Surprise me. Where are we going?
I'll surprise you. Give me a minute.
Anybody else got a guess? May? Ms? Kiwi? Chaster? Guess what my next 20 for 20 list is going to be?
Hold on. You don't get to tell yet.
Oh, wait. Somebody's doing something over there. Wait a minute. He's got new toys over there.
The new toy.
Side note, I have football going on my phone. So that's why you're seeing me turning to the right with my face. Because they moved the game to Tuesday night because of COVID.
Here we go. 3-minute poll.
Anybody wants to know? The Bills are losing to the Titans 28-10 in the third quarter. Don't know if there's any football fans out there, but there you go.
All right, here we go. Here's the question. What is Rise next 20 for 20? The poll is up. It's going to last for about 3 minutes, so quick, get your votes in now. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Ooh.
Is that a question to me, Shelly?
Most likely. He's wondering if you're a Bills or a Titans fan. I mean, obviously, if you're watching the game, you might be concerned about one of the teams.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not a fan of either the team. I like. This is a good game because it's two undefeated teams. But actually, my football team is the Packers. So my basketball team is the Heat. So I do have one Florida team on my deck of cards. And over here, Mr. 5-0 with his Seahawks. So
Yeah, I'm a Seahawks fan. The only city I lived in that had a football team that's still there. That and I really like theirs.
welcome, Jinx. Think you could drop in, check us out. It's a chill night.
Oh, thank you for sticking out. I don't want you to stay up
I'm
too
sorry,
late.
Chelly. We can still be friends. We can just yell at each other. That's
Oh, a
what.
Detroit fan?
Oh yeah,
Nothing wrong with Detroit.
nothing wrong. We do have a mutual friend that is a Bears fan. That he loved to rub it in my face, but we were good friends. We're good friends. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly who we're talking about.
He only shows up on my news feed when his team beats my team. So. Hey, now you never know. This might be the year.
Hey, you know what, Chili? Don't be mad. Don't be mad. At least you're not a Browns.
Well, actually, they're doing pretty good this year.
Finally.
4-1.
Okay.
But I concur. You're telling the truth. For 90% of their life, yeah. And the best player they had was only in the 50s. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, eventually everything comes around.
Yeah, nah. I can't agree with that trade. Not being a Lions fan, that's kind of a dumb trade. Trading your franchise away, yeah, that won't be good.
No, it's not.
Oh, it looks like the vote's almost done.
It's
I can
almost
see the
done. Got
bar.
a
I
few
can see the
seconds
bar.
left. Be curious to see what those results are.
It's inching.
And it's done.
Ah.
Well, apparently the chat thinks your next 20 for 20 is for songs. All right, rolling that insight check now. Result being...
No.
Oh.
Actually, I already did one for songs. That was my previous one. But my next one is going to be my 20 most impactful games in my gaming life. And I'm going to start it on Saturday. I've already put my list together, but I'm still needing to fill in one slot, and I'm really juggling between 5 games that have been amazing in my gaming life. But I'm not going to let y'all know. You'll have to find out later.
Alrighty.
Only the Scuba will know.
Yes, yes, I will know. Because I find out all the cool.
But anybody that knows me, they can, because I have my list up on my screen, they could probably guess about 4 or 5 of these games already. But that's okay. I'm not going to tell you if you got them right or not.
Oh, we just have to follow the Scuba Studio Facebook page and the Twitter, and to see where the list gets posted. Because, you know, inquiring minds want to know.
You might be right, Chelly. You might be wrong. Who knows? The mystery grows.
They always grow. Anyways, so.
What's been happening with the Scuba?
Yeah.
I know you're tired.
I'm tired. Well, like I said, I was up till 3 in the morning, and then got back up about 10. Guess I slept in a bit. Anyways, no, it's quite a few D&D games over the last few days. Big surprise there, I know. Challenge accepted, pretty good. Twilight's Gleaming is pretty good too. I mean, both of those were really interesting because we started those new viewer interaction options, and things went all kinds of crazy during the sessions. And hopefully it is a sign of things to come.
Oh yeah. Good things.
So aside from that, it was Sunday, started playing Baldur's Gate 3 as part of Sunday with Scoob. That was pretty fun.
Oh yeah. Just being a passive observer and watching you, I was excited.
Well, it took us a little while because apparently they implemented a thing with Baldur's Gate where you have a Twitch extension where you can actually put all of your dialogue choices up as polls.
Oh yeah.
So your viewers can choose which dialogue option to go with. But once that finally got it going, it was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But other than that, and then it was, of course, Monday night, did the community game with Realmsmith that was just premiering on the Realmsmith YouTube channel. That was long, that was fun, but it was nice because it was the culmination of all of those planning meetings and sessions, and it's still going. I am not surprised. I am not surprised in the slightest. I think but it was good. It was a nice culmination of everything that we had been working on the last few weeks, all of the various sessions, all of those long hours, and all that planning, which I took as a great learning opportunity. And I started hopefully going to be applying that stuff as we get into later games. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm ready for a vacation from D&D planning. But unfortunately, I'm not going to get that until December. It's just the workload gets a little lighter.
Hey, well at least there's a definitive placement for vacation of some kind.
Yes, I have. Now I can focus on videos. I can focus on starting and writing and making YouTube videos. I have been working on that, and there's a good tutorial I saw come across my feed that I haven't sat down to watch. But I've been just so sick of staring at everything with the last few weeks. It's like, So, and of course I'm tired, so I'm not exactly firing on all cylinders.
I'll help you out there, Scoob. I'll carry the weight on my 5'3" frame.
Well, the other thing is, you know, it's like now it's really getting to be crunch time for different reasons. I mean, just to be fair, it's like still haven't found any kind of. This is still my primary source of potential income. Is this, and this is starting to grow, but it's not quite growing fast enough. And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about it, but it's one of those. It's like the buffer or the safety net is starting to crumble away, so it's like, oof, What do I do? What do I do? So we're gonna keep working through that and see what we can do from there. Other than that, it's school starting up. I think my daughter's going back to class tomorrow for the first time since March.
What grade is she in again?
She's in 6th now.
Awesome. That's middle school in Chesapeake, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's middle school. She's only going into the classroom 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Fridays, are what I understand.
So they're
So
rotating the kids?
yeah,
Does it sound like?
there were a bunch of them that went in today, and there'll be a bunch. So it's kind of an A and B day thing to keep the as far as all the social distancing stuff, which I understand. It's cool. So we'll see how that goes. Means I got to be up at like 7 in the morning to make sure that they're up and moving and getting onto the bus stop. Being the stay-at-home parent who does an internet business on the side. Yeah. But on the bright note, my wife started a new job today.
Yes, congratulations.
Yep. She had an interesting first day. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'm just waiting. I think my dad's going to bring over a shed soon, so I have another shed in the backyard for kind of offloading all the stuff I've got. Probably put the little tractor in this one because I got a little old craftsman. I mean, this thing's like 25 years old, 25, 30 years old. One of those small craftsman lawn tractors. My neighbor, when he moved, he let me have it, so it was like, cool.
That's good. It's always good to get some things.
It is, and it's nice with the weather and everything. I can work on projects and stuff, so it'll be fun. Fun.
Oh yeah, definitely it's heading into that time of year where it's the semi-cool, so no humidity, so definitely good outdoors kind of weather.
It is. It's a really good outdoors weather. I can power up the cameras and maybe spend some time filming in the shop as I get through the shop, but I've got a bunch of stuff behind me that needs to be worked on, so it'd be one of those things. We'll see how it goes, but my biggest problem is I need to seriously invest in the shop.
It's always hot down there.
Yeah,
It's always humid down there. We knows this. We have a buddy that always lets us know that it's drenched in heat down there.
Yeah, but don't you also visit there like twice a year?
Yes, I haven't in a while, but I enjoy it. I can deal with the humidity.
That's fair. But yeah, it's been pretty chill. I mean, it's been mostly busy, nose to the grindstone on D&D games, planning and getting everything straight. And it feels like yesterday was a good payoff in terms of this is a story that had been working with the team on and finally seeing it wrap up and be in a point where we can be like, all right, now we can take a breath and start working on the next adventures. Take our learning points and apply them and see what's from there. So there was some ups and downs. Like I definitely am probably looking to add a couple of cast members to Challenge Accepted over the next week or so to bring the party back up. I'd love for just some good guests to come in for a few weeks to kind of help move the party along, and kind of help with that, because they haven't been terrible. It's like you need to get moving, or they're gonna end up failing the mission, and I feel bad that I'm not at least helping them try to succeed. So, but it's because how the adventure is going to keep moving, and I'd like try to find somebody, try to find some people who are interested, who haven't been playing yet, but also have a ringer. My big thing is I want a ringer.
A ringer.
Yeah. I want to stack the deck. To be completely honest, I want to stack the deck, and I want to bring in a ringer, someone who can really kind of turn things. They're not bad. It's just, and I don't want to sit there, but I definitely want to bring in a ringer to try and see how the story see how it goes for the last half. So.
That works. Understandable.
Well, See, and that's the funny thing, because that's like I can't go into that too much detail on that, because there was an incident that happened on Saturday where one of the characters ran off, and there's a small element of the module I was avoiding using. I was going to avoid using this element, and I ended up modifying it, and somebody had pretty much, it's like, here's the scenario, it's perfect to have this element come into play.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta pull it out of the hat.
Yeah, I mean, we pulled that out of the hat. It definitely was made for some. It made for some great suspense, I think, in terms of the story, terms of the episode. But it's like, how long can I keep this going? So, got a couple of moments where I could introduce a guest. I just try to find a good guest to bring in, and I could bring in another person who's just wanted to jump in. You're right. Players will always ruin a plan. But you know what? It's collaborative storytelling, so I can dish it just as well as I can take it.
You definitely know how to wiggle your way around. So, wiggle, 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 wobble, wobble, wobble.
Well, the dice are an instrument of chaos. We accept that. But players' actions, I can dish it out just as well as I can take it. So, but yeah, that's the fun part with that. So, enough of my rambling on that. Let's roll into our movie reviews. Ra, you've got a really interesting movie to talk about this week.
Yes, sir.
And then from there, we can move on to some news articles you were talking about. We only really have one odds and ends story to talk about tonight, but it's a really good one. I think
It is worthy. It's worthy of
justifies
itself.
not having 5 of them.
Yep.
But we do have some news things that are interesting. Again, part of this whole continuing conversation with the entertainment industry and COVID and whatnot.
So interesting news.
It is. And I kind of
Ups and
breezed
downs.
through some of what I was going to talk about for State of Game, but we're going to make it work and see how it goes. So let's talk about movie reviews.
Let's do this.
Alrighty, so this week we are reviewing, or in this case, Rye is going to tell us about The Yellow Rose, or Yellow Rose.
Yes, you got it. Yellow Rose.
An indie film that aired last year at as you were telling me, like a Filipino centric film festival.
Yes, it in May of last year, 2019, May 2nd, 2019, it premiered at the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival. And then because of COVID, the main release to theaters didn't happen until this year.
Okay, so how it was a limited release, obviously, in theaters this year.
No, it was full release. Like they were planning to release it, I believe, early, in the spring of this year, of 2020. But because of COVID, they pushed it to October for the full release.
So tell us about the movie.
All right, Yellow Rose is a small indie drama, a coming-of-age /forum/indie drama, and it focuses on a girl by the name of Rose Garcia. She is a Filipina teen who lives with her mother in a small Texas town. She actually has this big infatuation with country music and has a dream of wanting to, sing music, for people in country. And she is definitely prime because she's really good at music and writing. Along the way, fateful things happen with her and her mom, and she has to figure out a way to chase her dreams, but also find a way to deal with the separation between her and her mother, Gail. At the central point of this film, it does a good job of being a character study of immigration in America. Being that this is a Filipino-centric film, it does blend in both the Filipino culture and the assimilation of the Filipino culture within America and being immigrants, undocumented immigrants to an extent. They are and aren't. I won't go into the details of what the film is because it will give away a lot of the stuff. But basically, certain legalities cause her mother, get picked up, and then she gets separated from her daughter. So now her daughter is pretty much living on her own, going from place to place. She has an aunt. She, interacts with her aunt, interacts with a few other people in Austin, and she just has to fight her way and find her place, while also trying to figure out, should she go with her mom, who is probably going to get deported back to Manila, or find a way to stay here in America because she has a legal path. So she's at a crossroads. But through all that detriment, through all the conversations she has with friends, with new people, what is the heart and soul is that she lets out all that frustration through music, and specifically through country music. So you watch her growth through song, and when you watch her come up with lyrics, come up with tones, and when she meets somebody in the film which kind of hones in her skills as a country singer, as well as what it highlights is the emotional fervor that you find in society, especially dealing with the immigration issue in America, that even with all the issues that are happening, even when there's terrible things, there's always a sense of hope, sense of kindness. And at the heart of the film, you watch as she grows into a more mature person with her understanding of all the issues that she has to deal with, along with the issues she deals with her mother, with her other family members who don't want to help, and realizing that it's her voice that will get her through it all. So it's a very unique journey that combines song, coming of age, and actually hits on a heartfelt point with the immigration issue in America without, being too biased on one way or another. It just does a good blend of all of those at one thread. Any questions, Scuba?
Yeah, it's nice to see. I think as you're describing this, the first thing that's coming to mind is Selena.
Yeah, that is a very, very good comparison, especially the movie. Because it does a good way of showcasing, kindness in very different aspects of society.
And I think one of the things I like about this is that we're not focusing on Latin America immigration. We're focusing on immigration from a whole different part of the world.
Oh yeah, and this film is, like I said, it is focused on immigration, and like you said, this is actually focusing on Asian Americans, specifically the Filipinos, and how they also show the struggle that happens. It's not just, one part of the world that has issue with immigration. It's how every part of the world where everybody wants to come here, and the different ways they have to come here, and how they have to find the right path through it, regardless of how they get to that path. But it doesn't beat the drum. It's just one of those things where it just blends seamlessly, and it's just a simple style of storytelling because everything is done through conversation. You kind of just sit down with the characters, you interact, and you kind of see the flaws and fragility with every place she comes across. So it's very poignant and very just simple. And when you strip things back like that, it hits you. This movie hits you when you least expect it, and that's just very what's the word I'm looking for? That's a testament to the great direction, because it will just sneak up on you.
Okay. So what are we calling this one?
This is a great indie film, a great coming of age story. This is what you call storytelling at its finest. The simplicity does add to a lot of the predictability, and they do have to use some plot armor to get from point A to point B, but it never takes away from the enjoyment of the film. Like I said, this is in theaters. It might hit VOD at some point, but it was worth the full price of admission. 4 out of 5.
Nice. Nice little. It's always fun. It's always fun when you find these little indie films that skate under the mainstream radar.
Oh yeah. This is one that me and my girlfriend Angelica went and watched, and she thoroughly enjoyed it as well. We watched it on her recommendation because I did not know about it until she told me.
That's good.
So.
That's even better. That's even better.
Shout outs, props to you, Angelica. Mwah.
Alrighty. So,
Do we
I
got
think
one
another
more?
thing we can chat about a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think we have another review. Actually, a TV review. Am I correct?
Yeah, let's take a few moments to talk about The Boys season 2, which just wrapped.
Oh, I'm just gonna be, when I finished watching that episode, I was thinking in my head, I hope Scuba watches this, and I hope we get to talk about this a little bit, if not a lot.
It took me a little bit of time to where I could finally sit down to watch it with everything going on over the weekend. But yeah, I did see the final episode. It did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. And if you, just right now, I'm gonna put it out there. If you have not watched The Boys on Amazon, then go watch it. Here's your. We inadvertently may spoil something.
We'll put the finger up, maybe. The finger up.
Put the finger up. May have some spoilers here, but that was such a fun season. So yeah, season 3, all of that. So here's my spoiler finger. Spoiler. But I'll try and hold it up as long as I can.
I'll help you out over here, Scuba. I'll hold my finger up too.
Yep, see, there we go. We got our fingers up. This is gonna talk spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, then mute this or wait till the finger goes away. But dude, seriously, what the heck?
I actually think I like season 2 more than season 1, and it's more the fact that they actually you added more character depth. You added I was about to cuss. A lot more backstory, and actual backstory that actually plays into the current season and into future seasons.
What do you think about the fact that gender bended or gender flopped Stormfront? Because I think that actually made for a better story element than to keep the archetypical or stereotypical approach of making that potential antagonist male, but instead making it female.
Yeah, I think it was a good flip. Not only does it help, create more of a relatable fashion and create more fans by flipping it to female, but it also adds that depth to, that good and bad can be a mixture of either or. And the fact of her revelation of who she was, being, all the way back to one of the OGs, she was married to, am I right? Married to the founder?
Married to Vought.
Yeah.
She was right up in there with Nazi Germany, right up in all of that. So she's got all of that baggage that goes with her, which, again, this is why I think it's really clever, because we're not focusing on the typical white male or male antagonist who is this, where we actually have this person be female and be full on in there with all of that. And it shows, one of the best things about it is, regardless of all the crap we go through in modern America, all of that, there's still that unifying thing. Third Reich is immediately gets everyone on the same page going, all right, this has got to go. So I loved that. I loved how that all came out. Again, she showcased the blindness of how blind faith, even if it sounds right, is terribly wrong. She tried to make her views sound perfect, but in actuality they weren't. Yeah. And it highlights the scariness of, if she's not the only one out there that has that kind of train of thought, and the fact that a lot of soups have that train of thought is scary. Well, even the other soups were like, no, we're not doing this.
Oh yeah,
and that whole bit with Maeve and
Starlight
and the other chick just beating her down.
Yeah, that was so great, beating her down.
Again, that's not what you're expecting from this genre. Mm-hmm. You're expecting it to be all men doing it, and here it's a group of women doing it, and it's kind of jarring, but also quite satisfying to see that they decided to just take it and go a different direction entirely.
Oh yeah, and especially how we still got our fingers up, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, how she got toasted by the kid. Like, when she got toasted, I saw her frying on that ground, and all she could do was spout out German. I was like, success. and it comes from the most unlikely place, the kid.
Yeah, which they said that's because they wanted to
Yeah.
keep this family thing full circle. We
Yeah.
could see going into the next season, we can see that Homelander is definitely coming unhinged.
Oh yeah, there was an interview that the actor did, and he said he can only describe Homelander in 2 words for next season: homicidal maniac.
And of course, we can't sit there and talk about the end of this without looking at the fact that in season 3, which I think this is not a spoiler, so we can put our hands down. We can do this bit looking forward to season 3. The fact that Jensen Ackles is coming in to play Soldier Boy in season 3, I cannot wait.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be an amazing thing, just to see how he, since he's like the original superhero, kind of like their version of Captain America, but more of an opposite Captain America.
Well,
From
you know,
what they
I mean,
describe.
part of the irony is Soldier Boy is the boys' version of Captain America. Jensen Ackles auditioned for the part of Captain America for the MCU. So
yeah.
this is kind of meta. Yes, Jensen Ackles. I loved him back when when I first saw him on Dark Angel, the James Cameron TV show with
Yes.
Jessica Alba. And then, of course, 16 years or whatever it is doing Supernatural. Like, seriously. Yes, Supernatural's Jensen Ackles, that guy.
Oh yeah, and the one thing I did appreciate about this season, it was its own story. It's its own story where it built a beginning, middle, and end, but enough to where it's like, here's the end of this chapter, but this world has expanded even more. What's going to happen? You know, what's going to happen with the fact of you have the collective still there, without spoiling, unless I can throw my finger back up.
Now, I mean, we know that
Yeah.
if you saw the collective, we won't go into much detail. We'll save all the really juicy
Yeah.
stuff for you. Got to go watch it yourselves.
Yeah, you got to.
Then we can come back and continue to have a conversation.
But I appreciate that what this show is doing. It's flipping the idea of superheroes on its head, and also blending the idea that there's no good or bad. It's all driven by motive, and even in that motive, it might be a little bit of good, but it might be a little bit of bad. But it actually makes you like care about majority of the characters, even when you don't want to. You're kind of like, dang.
Well, that's the beauty of it. It's the fact that there is no, with the exception, there are a few exceptions to
Yeah.
this, naturally.
Huey is one of the exceptions.
No, I'm talking about just in general.
Oh, yeah.
It's the fact that good and evil are subjective and perspective. Good and evil are gray. There's a huge gray area.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, as kids, we're taught that there's a finite line, white hat, black hat, good, evil. There's a line. But as you get up into adulthood, especially, and this is a good tie-in for Dungeons & Dragons games and these kind of storytelling, is the gray area is where all the interesting stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
I mean, many fictional villains and even historical ones. With the exception, there are a few exceptions, but so many of them, it's all about perspective.
A good
And that
villain.
perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about the fact that, Black Panther, Killmonger, one of the best villains in the MCU because he actually had a story that you could get behind.
You understood where he was coming from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you can at least attempt to empathize if you're not exact. Because, with everything else going on, you can attempt to empathize with him.
Yeah.
And then there are people who could totally empathize with him. And he care for him. So, I'm just saying, that's what I like most about The Boys is the fact that, and it is, yes, it's gory and graphic and violent and just kind of over the top.
Yeah. But it does a good balance of that over the top. It doesn't completely sensationalizes it. Like there's been other things I've seen where they've gone over the top and it just was just completely over the top. But they don't sensationalize too much. They just do it. They tote the line. but they do it in a way that it makes you shocked, but makes you accept that this is real in this world.
It's real, and then it's the fact that there is a gray area. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
gray area on perspective.
Yeah, and I think Stormfront is the prime example of that, because she believed in her motive being right, so that makes a good villain. And no, I'll wait. till
Yep,
we go.
we'll wait.
I'll just.
Okay.
So, what do you did you guess what was Can I put the finger up or no?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
The ending, when the reveal happened. Exploding heads. No, we won't spoil it. Just add. Did you guess that, or was it a completely? Do you feel like it was completely left field, or a good red herring?
I don't feel it was very left field. I wasn't overly shocked when I saw, but the amount of just irony and jokes and just satire, the complete political satire of the show, that just, I mean, even when they interviewed, because you can go to YouTube and you can see Entertainment Weekly did a series of interviews, and even the cast is making the jokes. I mean, the fact that they did that was absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's funny, and it's definitely going to. It's going to. That's where one of those things where it's a prime example of it's expanding into what to expect. You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, they modeled the character after a person, and again, and everything else, and it was just the irony of it. It's just. But anyways, moving on. State of game, video games, board games, tabletop games, all the games. Let's talk about the games. Let's talk about.
Gamey.
Do you have any video games, or are you good with me talking about Baldur's Gate 3 at the first?
I can do a quick hit. Continuing to play Genshin Impact, enjoying it, loving it. It's a good stress reliever. I don't have to put too much time in it. A few hours and then jump out. Fun times.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3, early access. Wow. Just wow.
I will second that. Wow. As a watcher.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna roll a new character. Just saying. I thought I would try and recreate my dwarf cleric, and unfortunately, it is not at a point I'm comfortable with trying to rebuild Tamazar in that game. But I don't know. I may keep the cleric. I'm not sure. But,
Do you?
Yeah, but it was interesting. I mean, and I like how even when you fail a dice roll, it doesn't feel like a failure. I think that's probably one of my favorite elements of the fact is like when you fail, it's still pretty cool. So, but yeah, that was I think I ended up 4 hours or 3 hours playing that. Wasn't bad.
Yeah, you played a pretty long time, cause yeah, it was fun watching though.
Yeah, especially once I finally got the poll system for the Twitch integration going. That'll be fun to see how that rolls through too.
That's interesting, Charlie.
See how that goes.
But leave it up to the chat. Throw that
Yeah, leave it
dice,
up to the
Scuba.
chat. Leave it up to the chat. That's kind of how I'm going with it. I think it feels more fun. So, but oh, excuse me.
Graphically, the game looks beautiful. Like watching the graphics.
And I'm running that on a 980 card. I mean, if
Yeah.
I was running it on like a 2080 or something, oh, that would be just gorgeous.
It makes me want to attempt to put it on this laptop when it comes out.
One of the things is, at first I was running at the ultra settings. I actually had to dial it down to high. I've never had to do that with a PC game before. Because normally I can't play at ultra settings, and here I'm actually able to play at ultra settings. It's like wild. But that's pretty much all I got. I mean, we talked about the D&D stuff. Thinking about maybe doing a one-shot for Shadowrun at some point. I have that starter box up there on the wall, up there on the shelf, and think maybe I'll do a charity one-shot for Shadowrun. Still debating on how I want to try and do that and who I want to approach for that. Something different, but I think I may just ride out the end of the year and then kind of get some other stuff in place before I put too many more irons in the fire. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think we can move on to our news article blurbs.
The Scuba Rye fire chat discussions.
Oh yeah. Get that fire chat going, yo.
Skadoosh.
So, for our fireside chat today, it was a couple of articles came out, and the articles talked about some reshuffling of a couple of businesses within the industry. Specifically Disney, AMC, and Warner Brothers. AMC now last week we talked about how Regal Cinemas was closing all of the theaters for the short term. Medium term, whatever you want to call it. And AMC had released an article last week that when we did that, saying that they were going to open more theaters to try and encourage people coming in and checking it out. Well, AMC just released an article. Was it today or within the last 48 hours or so?
It was released. It was released this morning on Variety.
So, Variety was reporting that AMC put out a press brief, whatever, that basically said they may not have enough money to keep the theaters open by the end of 2020 because they're citing an 85% drop in attendance.
Yeah, it's insane. They our article on Variety, 85% drop. The big main markets, Los Angeles and New York, are still closed. And another thing that's really hurting the theaters is the fact that there's not a lot of big movies coming out. Give you a scenario. The movie I just watched and reviewed, Yellow Rose, it was Friday night at the theaters. Friday night at the theaters is usually packed on normal circumstance. Friday night at the theater was dead, and it was only 4 of us in that theater watching the movie on a Friday night. That puts into perspective on the struggle that these theaters are having. And it's interesting to see that, AMC put out there that they might be running out of money, and it's an amalgamation of what we've been talking and discussing and sometimes making good educated guesses, is that theaters are pushing these movies further and further out, which, they have the right to, because as the same article reported, the studios are antsy to release these big blockbusters out there because they're going to lose massive amount of money with the restrictions. But at the same time, it's a catch-22. Is you can keep pushing these movies out, but if the theaters stay closed, might close permanently, or just in this case run out of money to keep them running, they're not going to have much of a choice to the studios. They're going to have to put it out streaming or put it out there and cut their losses.
Yeah, totally.
It's a yin and yang. Like, the theaters need the studios and the studios need the theaters. And like you were saying before the show, this probably will blossom into a different kind of industry.
That, which is what I'm kind of actually excited to see or hear, is the fact that, okay, let's look at this.
Yeah.
We're in a climate right now that businesses are struggling.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I am not making light of that in any way, shape, or form. But on the same token, businesses that don't survive open the door for new businesses to come up. Artificially popping up businesses is not helpful to the overall climate. I mean, look at you could almost argue that a business climate is a lot like a nature biome. You need things to refresh to allow new growth. You keep these things here, even though they've been staples, and we're under the illusion that, oh, it's a staple, it has to be preserved. No, it doesn't. The business climate changed. Evolution changes. Evolution requires change. You can't have a business evolve if it's artificially propped up or held back. So if the theater chains go out, the big ones, okay. Those buildings aren't going anywhere. The tech isn't going anywhere. It's just going to be an open the door for a new business to come up. So many different businesses over the decades have gone through this. It's not a bad thing. So I think it'll be a good thing for the theater industry. It sucks, but there hopefully will be something positive that comes out of it later.
Oh yeah, this happens in a lot of cases, and a lot of people have lived through a lot of different ones. You know, automobile manufacturers, some come up, some go away. The internet, dial-up, DSL, broadband, wireless. Look at movies in itself. You had blockbuster Hollywood videos, etc., and the evolution led to streaming. You saw Blockbuster ain't around anymore, except for that one place you can stay for rent if you want to, if you live in Oregon. But music, another one. You watch as there was an article not too long ago where, you know, CD sales have dramatically decreased. The profitability is all in streaming, and the unique thing is that, like you said, evolution. Guess what's back in the prime time? Vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everything's cyclical, but at the same time, things need to evolve from this. And there's another article that showcases that.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at the fact that Warner Brothers Media, which is owned by AT&T now, is looking to lay off a bunch of people because Tenet and HBO Max did not bring in enough money. HBO Max has got to be a case in poor marketing.
Super poor marketing.
I mean, HBO Max comes out. They already had 2 different versions of streaming platform out there. They weren't very clear on their messaging. Plus the fact that they're showing that there's a drop in cable ads. There's a drop in cable subscriptions. There's not a lot of people subscribing to this. I mean, when they look at their numbers for the initial month of subscriptions and continuing subscriptions for HBO Max, they are nothing compared to what Netflix and Disney Plus are bringing in on a monthly basis, or just the market share. Granted, there could be room for change as it is later, don't get me wrong, but also the fact that Warner Brothers is kind of hemorrhaging money, and AT&T is trying to cut operating costs by up to 20%, by at least 20%, to keep things profitable in their books. Which this is how business goes. But it's sad that this environment is, you know, starting to cause some of that. And the thing is with HBO Max, it's self-inflicted because their marketing was so bad.
Yep.
You couldn't tell what was what, where was where, which service is what. They weren't clear on it.
Yep. They dropped it while also having HBO Go and HBO Now. And the thing is, you can log into one or the other and with the login, but you'll be like, hey, where's my American Pickle? Where's my Anna Kendrick's original Max series? I logged into it. And the fact is, HBO Max is still unavailable on 2 of the major platforms that do the streamings, the Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge share of the market, because a lot of people that stream use those devices. So
that's true. So that's just another one that's like, you know, this environment is really making things miserable for you. And of course, the big one is arguably is the House of Mouse.
Oh yeah.
House of Mouse just announced that they are completely restructuring their entertainment and movie divisions. And with that restructuring, they're focusing everything on they're putting the primary focus on making content for streaming, which could be an interesting thing, because we're talking this affects Disney Studios, this affects Pixar, this affects Marvel Studios, this affects LucasArts, this affects 20th Century Fox, and it affects Searchlight, which is another one of their studios that they own. all of these guys, all these players, all of their TV stuff, everything, they're focusing on content for the streaming ones. Could be more direct VOD, but also could mean the fact that big budget films that rely on the theater experience to justify the cost could start going away. And this is what I was referring to in the beginning when we're talking the evolution of an industry.
Yeah.
If the movie industry, if this turns out, and this is going the way it's going, we may not see another big budget Avengers. We may, in fact, see more things like The Mandalorian, more smaller, but better, more smaller and drawn out things.
More heavy character-driven dramas like Joker.
Or it could be that instead of having the big Marvel thing for what we've seen for the last 20 films over 10 years, having multiple films in a year, we get one of those big budget blockbuster films every couple of years. I mean, we've seen with the Star Wars franchise. Star Wars is not a franchise that does well with an episodic, every year there's a movie coming out. Star Wars does best in the box office when there's a few years in between each film to bring up the hype. Conversely, we look at Marvel. Marvel, if they're continuing to put out a film every 6 to 8 months, they're solid because each of those films work in that format much better than the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah. You slap the tag Marvel, it's already going to garner, 800 million in the first weekend.
That's in pre-COVID stuff. And the current COVID stuff, plus with the fact taking in and coupling in everything else we're seeing so far, the fact that we may not have that as we look at the 2021, 2022 years, is the fact that, okay, we may not see those huge things. But if they're going to focus more on streaming, that means they can do a different kind of film.
Yeah.
As well as, doing it in smaller chunks and more episodic. So you just have to just ask yourself, it's like, okay, what if I did Avengers Endgame in a format like The Mandalorian? Endgame was a 3-hour plus film by itself. 8 episodes of The Mandalorian, that's 8 hours. Imagine if you could tell Endgame over 6 hours instead of 3. How much more story can you get out? Especially with some of the technology they developed just so they could film The Mandalorian in a different way to make it feel like it's a big budget blockbuster type thing, but it's an actual, episodic story.
It's definitely going to be seeing how it's going to rein in a lot of it. What this is actually it's going to do is create a definitive cost efficiency model with these movies, because a lot of complaints in the like you said, movies industry is like these bloated budgets. You'll be looking at a movie be like 200 million, and then when you actually watch it, you'll be like, where did that 200 million go? So yeah, it'll help them streamline and might help them divert that money into creating better content.
Well, the other thing with that is you're looking in, because you also take into account the union fees, because the unions want to have X number of people. We're already seeing that with the big debate over the movie industry in California as it is. When you're looking at the fact that all the unions are having to argue over, okay, do I really need 20 people for a job when realistically I only need like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Especially when you take into account that, okay, well, we have to have an aide for everybody. I get a fine. Everybody deserves an aide, but social distancing, safety, all of that, you can't have 20 aides on set. You keep the number of people on set down, then it's got to ask yourself, wait a minute, I'm still making product.
Yeah.
So the unions, of course, that's what unions do. Unions try to keep jobs for the people. I get it. But at some point, you have to sit there and ask yourself, am I doing more, or am I helping or hurting the situation by constantly beating this drum, even though I'm going to, at 1 minute, say, whoa, we have to have everybody here because that's what's expected, and then turn around and go, all right, everybody's got to stay 6 feet away from each other for social distancing, for public health safety. Well, guess what? Unless you're going to build a building that accommodates that, which there's a whole new set of costs, you have to reduce the number of people. And as you reduce the number of people, you become more efficient. let's
Yeah.
look at what's going on with all the comment about the minimum wage argument. Look at the fact that, okay, now I can go into McDonald's and Taco Bell and I don't have to stand at the register. I can use their little kiosk thing to order my meal. And guess what? I can order a meal customized the way I want it that I could never do talking to the person at the register, because if I talk to the person at the register, they don't know how to, 9 times out of 10, they don't know how to manipulate the system to give you the custom thing. Like when I went into Taco Bell just recently with my daughter, and I was like, all right, I ordered their whatever, I ordered some quesadilla thing, right? But I could order it, and then when I ordered the box, I could sit there, it's like, okay, do I want 2 crunchy tacos? No, I want 2 soft tacos. Guess what? I want extra cheese, no tomato, easy this, and whatever. I can do all of that through the kiosk with a couple of taps, and I feel good about my meal when it comes out to me. 5 years ago, you only could talk to the person at the register, and if you try to say, hey, I'd like extra this, or I wouldn't like that, they would sit there and fumble and try and get through it. Now, the ones that actually know the system backwards and forwards, they end up getting promoted to managers, and sometimes the training doesn't trickle down to the teenager who walks in off the street doing that for their first job. And look at how many different places now with the restaurants. The dining rooms in a lot of places are still closed, but you can go in, do your kiosk, get your order, and come out. Look at mobile ordering. I can order it through the mobile app, and I go pick it up.
I do that a lot.
So, soapbox on that, but you know, some of these things
It's interesting, you know, conversation with a random person somewhere where I was talking about, you know, that it just made, you know, when I talked about the evolution of the industry, people have to adapt to, because what COVID is creating is that you have to adapt to it, and technology advances, you got to adapt to it. And I got a look from a said person, just, you know, person I was having a conversation, I could tell in the look of his eyes he didn't like that idea. I was like, well, dude, either move forward or keep complaining.
Best message of Meet the Robinsons was the fact that you have to keep moving forward. You have to sit there and keep pushing things. The more you try to hold on to certain things, even though when they become unrealistically, it doesn't become realistic to hang on to it, it's time to move on. I mean, we're seeing that a lot now because this whole thing has shaken up a lot of how we conduct business and how we do things. There was an article that was launched not too long ago that's saying that Microsoft has announced that the majority of their employees are now allowed to work from home permanently.
Yes.
150,000 people, for the majority, are allowed to work from home permanently. Could we have that conversation a few years ago? Could we have that conversation without the COVID crisis going on? No, because everybody would argue, oh, if they're working from home, they're not working at all. No, people will work. If anything, you're seeing, okay, I can either work from home or I can't. And if I can't, I sure as hell better learn.
Oh yeah, it's a shift in mentality, especially, you know, people ordering off kiosk and stuff, and you know, there are certain generations that just don't want to do it. I was like, well, this is the way society's going.
If anything, that's an opportunity, because then you have to identify, okay, why are you not doing it? Why? Okay, there's a problem with the system then, because if it's really so convenient for everybody and you're having a problem with it, then it's not a perfect system. That's an opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And even with the Microsoft thing I just
education.
mentioned, there are still positions that require you to go to an office.
Yes, they always will have
Those will always be there. But the fact that you can now minimize the number of people in an office. Like, here's a strange thing, right?
Cost efficiency.
I'm sitting there, and my son's working one day a week at his job right now, because social distancing has pretty much killed his thing, right? But driving on the interstate now, at 11 o'clock at night, it feels like I'm driving. It feels like it's 2 in the morning. Traffic is so much lighter now. I mean, my wife, she sat there and got off work today, and I was expecting, you know, like the stupid commutes from Virginia Beach to here along the interstate at rush hour, and she actually made it back in decent time. Weird.
Oh yeah, it is weird. Oh man, I still see the rush hour out there certain days, but it's a changing of course. The company
it's not
I'm
as long.
yeah.
It's not as clustered. I mean,
But hey, the less people on the roads, they're getting a lot of these major projects done around here too, so that's a plus.
oh yeah, they're ripping up Laskin Road right now. I was just like, whoa.
Yep,
about
ripping
time
up
they fixed this.
Laskin. They're doing 64 out in Deep Creek. They're about to start on widening the HRBT. Yeah, lots of things. But I digress.
Oh. Yeah, well, widening the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel is a whole different headache and a half.
Oh yeah, but regardless of how long it's taken, it's happening, people. So it's finally happening.
Oh yeah. So, all right, all that stuff. Let's end this on a happy note. Let's end this on a really great
Dappy dappy doo.
odds and ends story. And I've already got the picture up. That's cool. We're gonna talk about this guy. So let me set the scene for you. You're driving in you got a pickup truck that's got 300,000 miles on it. You're trying to go to work, and the truck breaks down. You can sit there and wait for someone to come along to give you help, or you can take matters into your own hands. This guy did is he took his he had a longboard skateboard in the back of his truck, took it out of the truck, and was riding the skateboard to get to work. And while he was doing that, he pulled out his phone and he made a TikTok video. And the TikTok video was to a song from Fleetwood Mac. And he got to work. He worked at a potato factory in Idaho. Put the phone away, posted the video, put the phone away, didn't think anything of it. Within an hour, this video on TikTok had 100,000 views. And it's snowballed. It is now up to like 35 million views for this. Sales for the Fleetwood Mac album songs and streaming all went up, and it spawned a whole string of classic rock montage videos. And he ended up, and he was riding the skateboard with a jug of ocean spray, cranberry juice, and he just listened to this song, and then he gets in there, and it's like the video goes viral. Next thing you know, he's getting contact. He's having a video call with one of the guys from Fleetwood Mac, who lives in Hawaii. He's got a publicist, and Ocean Spray bought him a new truck.
Oh yeah. It is interesting. This is what you call, online at its finest, internet, when it just spawns just randomness. But this is good randomness. Not only did it, spawn all those views and all of this stuff, it spiked Fleetwood Mac's song back up into the charts. Its highest, it tripled its sales back in the charts, the highest it's ever been since 1977. And also, so many videos to spawn. You had the governor of Montana do a tribute video, Jimmy Fallon, and then also Mick Fleetwood do his own tribute to the video. So it's just one of those things that, the randomness of the internet spawns a craze.
Yeah, we can talk about all the things with TikTok and talk about all the concerns and all the nastiness and the darkness that's going on. But these are those shining light moments. These are those points in like Lord of the Rings, the third Lord of the Rings, where they're going, there's that little ray of sunshine on the statue and the flowers bloom, where it makes you think there's a better day.
Oh yeah.
There's moments of brightness in all of this, and this is one of those stories. I mean, he sits there and he talks about how his daughter, I was encouraging him to get involved with TikTok, and he's like, whatever, I'll just do it. I mean, I'm riding to work on my skateboard. You know, I'm limp syncing the song to it as I'm riding and passing the time. And next thing you know, it goes poof.
Poof. He is an internet sensation, and this is the kind of things that happen on the internet if it's done right. And pure delight. I'm gonna end it on a quote from him. He says, "There's just too much chaos right now. Everybody just needs something to relax to and vibe out with." And that's words from Apodoc. I butchered his name, but pure delight. I definitely have watched the video too. It's pretty funny and fun.
Yes, yes. And with that, we could pretty much say that our time here today is done.
Oh yeah. Definitely a good time.
It's been loads of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've been kind of a moment where you can zone out and hang out and chill.
Hopefully y'all had a good time. Fun
So-
things coming up. One, maybe 2 reviews coming up for me.
Well, that's good. That's good. Again, a shout out and a thank you to Syrinscape. A shout out and a deep thank you to all of you out in the community, everyone who watches, follows, subscribes, throws bits, tips, all of those things. It takes resources to do this, and without your support, we wouldn't be able to keep doing this. So please keep it going. Keep that word of mouth growing. Follow us on all our social medias. Should be links and all that in the doobly-doos. So that's all awesome. We love you guys all so much. Stay safe. Stay in contact with everybody. Love each other. Wear your mask. And of course, don't forget to vote. If you're eligible to vote, get in there. If you haven't registered, make sure you register. Deadlines are coming up, so you want to make sure you do that. And we will see you on our next stream. Good night, everybody.
Scuba Ride 2020. Peace.